If you could have one mulligan for your dad on Twitter, you get to pick, go back in your dad's Twitter history. You get to take one tweet away. We should have whoever else on. We should hire Johnny Manziel and act like he's a great guy. Not like Donald Trump Jr., right? Is that what we should do? Johnny Manziel's awesome. He's funny. Is that what you want us to do? Put it this way, if you're looking for like a deep dive and a gotcha moment to like Ukraine and shit, go somewhere else. I mean, really, what the fuck am I going to, I mean, what's he going to say on that? I think they just think it's going to be a really political conversation. And you know, I'm going to say this, you know, sorry I don't care about fucking horses running in circles. Okay, I'll do the best I can next time. You want me to do that? I mean, you with the fucking, whatever, TikTok. Fuck off. Fuck off, KMarko. I mean, I like him and everything he came on. But if it's a KMarko, what does the email say?
It was actually text messages. I told him we were having Don Jr. on because I thought that he would appreciate that and see the value of doing a blog about it.
Don Jr., who, by the way, completely had Portnoy's back on the AOC thing.
That was kind of my point.
Totally had her back.
Yeah.
Rather his back on the thing.
I told him we were having him on, and he said, "Fuck that guy." And
okay. Let's just have people on. You know what we should have on a lot more is fucking Rob Gronkowski, and we should have whoever else on. We should hire Johnny Manziel and act like he's a great guy. Not like Donald Trump Jr., right? Is that what we should do? Johnny Manziel's awesome. He's funny. Is that what you want us to do? Yeah, he's cool.
He said, "I'll give you the heads up right now so you don't waste your time. Dave won't let that up on the site."
Okay. I talked to Dave last night. He had absolutely no problem with it. So either KMarko's full of shit, which is possible, or Dave was lying to me on the phone last night. One may be possible. By the way, and as I always say, I don't care. Don't promote it. I know it drives Steve crazy. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But I hate that attitude. Like, oh, I hate that guy. Okay, so now Barstool, who all we do is rail against people who say they hate us without real reason. Mm-hmm. They say, oh, I hate that guy. Let's not have a conversation with him. Let's ostracize him. As opposed to talking to the fucking guy.
What does he mean by don't let it up on the site? Won't let it up on the site.
Not going to promote it.
Well, I actually tried to get clarification. I just said, not looking for a fight. Honestly, just want to know what the deal is here. And correct, Barstool as a whole will not associate with him, but you are free to do whatever you want with him and promote through your channels as much as you want.
So it's Barstool as a whole. We're not part of Barstool as a whole?
What he was saying is we're not going to be allowed to write about Don Jr. on the blog post. That's what KMarko was telling me yesterday.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, I mean, we'll do what we always do. We'll do our thing and let them react.
I talked to Dave last night. He had absolutely no issue with it.
Can't imagine why they would.
KMarko was saying this came right from Dave.
I mean, I think wires may have been crossed.
Yeah, that's entirely possible. It happens all the time.
But if the son of the president, who's super active on social media, is kind of a meathead, frankly, but I mean, sort of this New York dummy.
I wouldn't be surprised if he did KFC radio, like a totally non-political show.
I'm sure he would like to.
Dave's show on.
I mean, he's one of those guys.
He has 4 million followers on Twitter. We're going to ask him about Portnoy today, and he's going to say something that. Right. You know, I don't know.
He'd be a good fit to be one of these guys who just comes into Barstool to promote his book and does all their shows.
Yeah,
and
I don't know.
Odd instincts.
Yeah, like what are we? Because he's a Republican, or because he's like what doesn't? I mean, like
because even if the headline is Kirk Minihane interviews Donald Trump Jr., are people going to be no?
But yet they'll have the fucking bagel guy on all the time. Like another New York blowhard, right? I mean, let's talk to my guy, my best friend. A guy who I agree with everything politically. Really, the next president of the United States, Donald Trump Jr. You know, we were just talking. It's first of all, Donald Trump Jr. The book is called Triggered. We were just talking like it's amazing. So we wanted to have you on for whatever 15-minute hit. Just talk about your book, bullshit or whatever. And when you have somebody now in 2019, whether it's your dad or you, whomever with that last name, it becomes this like inner office civil war about talking to somebody for 15 minutes just about stuff. It's you know what it is, honestly? It's triggering. That's what I'm going to say. It's triggering.
It is definitely triggering. I've noticed that myself because I live in New York City, right? So it's certainly an interesting place.
Are you going on The View?
I am.
Oh, that's going to be that. Now that's going to be Joy Behar. I think may actually just her head may explode. Like we watched her with Tulsi Gabbard. Was that yesterday, Steve?
Yeah.
Tulsi. I mean, this is the inflexibility is unbelievable. I mean, but I think you like the idea of going in and being combative, correct?
Yeah, listen. I don't have to be combative. Listen, the reality of the world this day in 2019. I mean, I can go be combative with the best of sort of what I do. The only issue is for me going into there. That's a no win, right? I mean, I could be right. It could be well deserved, but it's been me being combative against 5 women, and then you're canceled because you can't do that because that makes you a misogynist. And that's the problem with today. I mean, that's a big genesis and thesis of the book, which is, the double standard that exists for all of these things. Everyone, wants equality, but you can't possibly question that kind of person. You saw what they did to Tulsi Gabbard. I mean, I thought that was
ridiculous,
terrible. I mean, and she's actually liberal. Like, she's not like a pretend liberal. Like, she's not a moderate liberal. Like, she's pretty darn liberal. And they still destroyed her because maybe she's not quite, as liberal as Elizabeth Warren, or she's maybe not, quite, a communist like Bernie Sanders. Like, it's such a level of extreme today. And, it's unfortunate that it's been, so polarized and that it's gotten that way. But we've seen that for a long time. I mean, you've seen sort of, in my opinion, and I've spent a lot of time in the Midwest, my sort of hobbies, whether, hunting, fishing, shooting, stuff like that. I spent so much time in the Midwest, for a real part of the country, and I speak to people all the time, and they're like, you see this notion that, the Democrat Party isn't the Democrat Party of your grandfather. It's not that sort of JFK would be alt-right and he'd be canceled and he's a misogynist, a terrible person. He wouldn't be, he wouldn't be a hero of the party, if he was around today. And so you see so much of that it is pretty tough. But,
what's amazing to me is, we do the show here at Barstool, and I'm a libertarian. So, I mean, I don't care what you do in your personal life. Doesn't matter to me. I'm more economically conservative. We run over these stories every single day. I saw you talked about the other day with Gayle King. We saw the story of the day of how the world's ending. And without fail, every single time this person will write it, they'll write the story, they'll have their opinion. We ask them to come on and just have a conversation, just have a debate about it, and they won't talk about it. The amazing thing to me is how the country is sort of flipped now, where ironically, 30, 40 years ago, like you said, now the right is more open to talk about conversations and stuff. And I don't know what, actually I do know, honestly, is that your dad was elected, and for something that drove the left fucking bananas. But that drove them nuts. But that evolution. I mean, I'll go to college campuses. I mean, I was at 2 college campuses in the last 2 weeks, probably 5 in the last 2 months. I'll go and speak, and I mean, I've had people get in the back row, and just literally scream, just like 45-minute speech. Like, I don't know whether to be upset or impressed, because it's like, wow, that's like, if you could channel that hate towards something else, but like, how good are your ideas if you can't even allow other people's ideas to be heard?
Have you found?
So, you're right, and I'm with you, by the way. I'm probably more libertarian as well. I'm from New York. On a lot of the social issues, I'm sort of, live and let live, fairly indifferent. But then I do draw the line, and I take some time to sort of explain that in the book. I mean, hey, this is a sports show. The trans women in sports, like, you're just not going to get me to buy into it. Like, I don't care if they play sports. I don't give a crap how you identify. Makes no difference in my life. As far as I'm concerned, happy people are productive people. But when you have that guy like Fox, the MMA fighter, hey, I'm not so good at this as a guy. I'll become a female fighter and like fracture the skull of, my female opponent in the first round. Like, it's not right. When you have trans women breaking every weightlifting world record for females, every day. You saw 2 weeks ago was the women's bicycle world record,
right.
World championship. I'm like honestly, where are the feminists?
But here's the thing. So, I agree. Like, I'm all for transgender rights. Do whatever you want. That's your life. If you're happier, great. But Martina Navratilova herself spoke out against this, agreeing with what you said 6-7 months ago.
Oh, but they destroyed her.
This is a gay icon, and they took endorsements away from her.
No. Listen. I grew up. She had a similar story to my mother. Right? They both escaped communist Czechoslovakia.
Right.
So this is all in the book. I literally use her as the example in the book, which is she was a gay icon and an LGBT activist 35 years.
It took a tremendous amount of courage back then. I mean, unbelievable.
Way before it was cool to be one. And like, she did this. She's like, listen, I was a really, really accomplished female athlete. Like, I think it's unfair. And they destroyed 40 years of work. It was like it was nothing. So they hit her so hard, she had to walk it back a couple of days later. And then, 3 weeks later, she starts hitting Trump because that's the way to get back. You know what I mean? That's your plan.
Well,
we got to hit Trump. I'm like, neglect to say that we grew up, knowing her, hanging out, seeing her. It's such bullshit. And it just keeps going. And that's the problem. I mean, if you're woke today, you may not be woke tomorrow anymore, Kirk. You're shit. You could be all right tomorrow. even if you're still the same woke of today.
Right.
The goalposts move so much. There's a never ending. It's like, it's almost like you have honestly, like I do some trolling. I like sort of having a good time with these things. It's almost like if you put a couple guys in a room and be like, okay, dude, how can we just screw with people and like take it far? Like so ridiculous that no one could, and it's like, but they're not. They're actually serious. And again, you can be as live and let live as you want, but eventually I'd be like, dude, come on, I can't tell if I'm reading The Onion or if I'm, actually seeing real life anymore. And it's amazing. I do see some of these headlines. I'm like, April Fool's is this? Like, what day is it?
Yeah, so if you could have one, your dad's a great golfer. If you could have one mulligan for your dad on Twitter, you get to go back in your dad's Twitter history. You get to take one tweet away. And by the way, your dad's Twitter, like the time he does it, your dad tweeting is fascinating.
He's the greatest ever.
And he's also like, and you forget, like, so your dad is about the age my dad would have been if he was still alive. Like, my dad wouldn't know what to do with Twitter, like, if his life depended. I wonder sometimes, is your dad, like, old? Does he not understand it? Does he understand it? Does he get it? Is he confused sometimes?
Listen, he's always been, really good at messaging. I mean, as far as mulligans.
True. Yeah.
Because I've never thought about. Just kidding. Actually, in the book, I tell the story about I get pretty hot myself on Twitter.
I noticed. Yeah.
Didn't you fight with your dad a little bit about the Twitter?
What? Oh yeah, no, he did. I got that call one time. Maybe more than one time. I'm like, this is the White House operator, the president. I'm like, hey, Dad, what's going on? He's like, son, you're getting a little hot on Twitter. I'm like, listen, Dad, I love you and all, but come on, maybe this isn't your
Yeah, no irony there.
maybe we've ceded some of the moral authority on this one. I learned it by watching you. So it's funny. I mean, this whole process has been, really interesting. Just, and it, again, why I wrote the book, because you see sort of that evolution. And if you would have looked at us, probably, and any of our friends, would have been like, Don's not really, him and his dad are probably a lot more different than similar and stuff. But it's, you put us into war with the, BS that we've been going through for a few years, whether it's the campaign, whether it's the bullshit, Mueller hoax, all of that stuff. For a few years, and it's like, wait, geez, the personalities you turn into your parents,